Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Bill Howe Family of Companies, providing San Diego with plumbing, heating, air, restoration, and flood services for over 40 years. Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE or visit BillHowe.com. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marcos Shiley, and by the following. And by viewers like you. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi. Thanksgiving is still almost a week away, but the busy holiday travel season has officially begun. KPBS reporter John Carroll checked out the early hours of the holiday rush at San Diego International Airport.
It's the first holiday travel season for the airport's new Terminal 1, and with more people expected this year over last, so far so good, says the airport.
It's about a 2 to 3% increase. So even though we're going to have more people, we're hoping that people won't feel that push. In the old Terminal 1, you really did feel it because it was cramped. Now we have this beautiful terminal that's spacious.
Downstairs at baggage claim, not only was it not cramped, it was practically deserted.
We just came from JFK.
Karen Ruby says things at America's biggest city's biggest airport were going smoothly as well.
It wasn't that crowded in JFK. We took the train to the plane, got on the plane, and we're here. And there's nobody here.
Of course, this won't last. Things are only going to get busier through next Wednesday, then a lull until after Thanksgiving.
And then the busiest day is going to be Sunday, November 30th. That's what we're anticipating. What we're anticipating is having about 875,000 people come to the airport during that 11-day period, and then each day, that breaks down to about 80,000 people coming to the airports.
That brings us to the familiar advice. Check with your airline on flight status before coming to the airport and arrive at least 2 hours before your departure time. There's something new at the airport this year that allows you to do something you haven't been able to do for a very long time. It's called Fan Pass, and when you get one of these, you can go past security with friends or family to either see them off or welcome them home at the gate.
You fill out a pretty simple application asking for information that is reviewed by TSA. This program is monitored and regulated and approved by TSA. You go through the same screening that you would if you were flying.
Something to perhaps make traveling during the busiest time of the year a little nicer. John Carroll, KPBS News.
Well, we are still facing some very active weather with some lingering showers and even some rain tonight for several more hours, a little bit of snow into the mountains. This is going to be winding down as we get into the weekend with some residual leftover rain showers in the interior, primarily on Saturday. And it will turn windy through tonight into tomorrow. Low pressure gradually moves east. That will allow for increasing winds, but it's been wet out there, so this offshore wind event will not come with the same fire danger. Details ahead.
Plans for new housing in Claremont and the College area took a step forward today. KPBS Metro reporter Andrew Bowen says they would allow for the construction of more than 31,000 new homes.
The College Area Community Plan was last updated in 1989. The neighborhood has a high demand for housing, much of it coming from students, staff, and faculty at SDSU. Most of the neighborhood would stay the same under the updated plan, but it would allow higher density along major streets. Some College area residents told the City Council's Land Use and Housing Committee they supported more housing, but that the city's proposal went too far.
We need community resources. We have one community room that we can meet at, and it's at the library, and the library has about half the parking that it needs. So we need library parking to enhance that.
Supporters of the plan update said the college area's trolley stations and rapid bus routes make it ideal for higher density.
Some worry about infrastructure fairly, but new housing generates property tax revenue to fund parks and rec. That's what happened when Mira Mesa added new homes and allowed it to fund a new community center. Councilmember Sean Ela Rivera, whose district includes the college area, said SDSU students need more places to live within walking distance of campus.
The vibrancy of the community, the diversity of income, of race, ethnicity, religion, San Diego State University is a huge reason why that exists. And if we don't give those students a place to live by zoning for more appropriate density, we will lose the thing that many in this room have said that they most appreciate about their community.
The community plan update in Claremont is a similar story. Like the college area, most of Claremont would remain zoned for low density, but the updated plan allows taller apartment buildings on commercial strip malls and near the Blue Line trolley stations. The committee voted to support both plan updates. A final vote before the full city council is expected next month. Andrew Bowen, KPBS News.
If you live in San Diego, you're probably wondering what's going to happen to your trash bin now that the city is replacing it. KPBS environment reporter Tammy Murga has the breakdown.
Out with the old and in with the new, as the phrase goes, but not so fast. San Diegans say they want to know where their old trash bins are headed.
The old containers are not being trashed. They're not going to the landfill.
Andrea De Leon works in waste reduction with the city. She says the bins will have a new life. They'll become industrial building materials and
brand new bins or other reusable transport packaging. That can include pails or toters or pallets.
The process goes like this. City crews collect them from your home and take them to a yard in Miramar. Crews clean them and take them apart. Wheels and metal bars are sent elsewhere for recycling. Then only the bins and their lids are left.
This is where the bins are actually chipped into smaller chunks, which drops into a chute, into a larger container.
Those smaller chunks of plastic are sent to RERIC Pacific plants. They'll be made into new recyclable products. In July, the city contracted with RERIC for $23 million to collect and recycle the old containers. To date, the city says it has reclaimed more than 60,000 trash bins. By next summer, about 750,000 should be recycled. Tammy Murga, KPBS News.
A KPBS investigation found law enforcement agencies in San Diego were searching automated license plate readers owned by private businesses. KPBS reporter Scott Rod talked to shoppers at Fashion Valley Mall to get their reaction.
The cameras capture the license plate, make, and model of every car that drives by. They can analyze patterns of movement and potential connections between drivers. Dozens of businesses and homeowners associations around San Diego allow law enforcement to search through data from their license plate readers with virtually no oversight. Police say people shouldn't be worried, and probably aren't.
I don't think too many people are concerned, if we're honest.
Commander Christopher Lawrence is with the San Diego County Sheriff's Office.
I think people go about their days just trying to get their own lives handled, and they're not always worried about some of the periphery that goes on.
Periphery?
Everything else outside of their control.
KPBS went to Fashion Valley Mall to find out. The shopping center gives police access to its license plate readers. We spoke to several shoppers. None of them knew about the mall's flock system, but they all wanted to learn more.
I appreciate what they're doing. Why? Because it's safety, and it's good for the city, the state, and in your area where you live at.
Others expressed concerns. 29-year-old Alexa Sandoval used to work at the mall and saw shoplifting firsthand. She understood the upside of giving police access to the system.
We've had a lot of theft and people just coming in and having a getaway car and things like that. So I think in terms of helping find the people who are actually creating crimes here at the mall, I think it's a good idea.
But now, as a consumer, she's not so sure.
If we're not really doing anything wrong here, do they really need to have all of our information?
46-year-old Phil Rivas expressed serious reservations about the camera sharing arrangement.
Here in the United States, we want privacy as much as possible and transparency. It seems like people, companies or corporations are going out of their way to just validate, not give us that privacy.
Rivas supports helping law enforcement solve crimes, but he thinks customers should know about the technology being used. Simon Property Group, which owns Fashion Valley Mall, did not respond to multiple requests for comment. Other businesses that share their license plate data include Home Depot, Lowe's, the Southwestern Yacht Club, and homeowners associations. San Diego Police Captain Charles Lara says consumers always have the option to shop elsewhere.
If I'm being surveilled, I can vote with my feet or my car. I can go shop at another, I can solicit another mall, or I can, I can use Amazon, or I can choose. You have any number of choices if you feel put upon.
He encouraged San Diegans to do their homework to understand where these surveillance systems are located. KPBS learned about the privately owned license plate readers after reviewing more than 1,500 pages of police records. Scott Rodd, KPBS News.
And KPBS reporter Gustavo Solis co-reported this story. If you have a tip for KPBS's investigations team, you can send an email to investigations@kpbs.org, or you can message them on our secure signal line at the number on your screen, 619-594-8177.
I'm Amna Navaz. Tonight on the News Hour, New York City's mayor-elect meets with one of his toughest critics, President Trump. That's coming up at 7 after Evening Edition on KPBS.
An abundance of evidence shows there's no connection between vaccines and autism. But this week, the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention updated its website with anti-vaccine talking points that don't rule out a link between two. Julia Benbrook reports on the reaction from doctors.
Medical professionals are voicing concerns as scientific information on the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's website has been replaced with anti-vaccine talking points. Bullet points on the site now state that vaccines do not cause autism is not an evidence-based claim. Dr. Dimitri Daskalakis, who recently resigned as director of the CDC's National Center on Immunization and Respiratory Diseases, said the change was a, quote, national embarrassment.
My advice to parents is talk to your pediatrician. The American Academy of Pediatrics completely disagrees with this update. The Autism Foundation disagrees with this update. So speak to people who actually are experts and take care of children.
While the main heading on the page still states vaccines do not cause autism, it comes with an asterisk that directs readers to a footnote. There it states the wording was not removed due to an agreement with the chair of the U.S. Senate Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Committee that it would remain on the CDC website. That seems to refer to a commitment by HHS Secretary and longtime anti-vaccine activist Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to Republican Senator Bill Cassidy during his confirmation process. In a statement following the website change, Cassidy said in part, "I'm a doctor who has seen people die from vaccine-preventable diseases. What parents need to hear right now is vaccines for measles, polio, hepatitis B, and other childhood diseases are safe and effective and will not cause autism. Any statement to the contrary is wrong, irresponsible, and actively makes Americans sicker." An HHS spokesperson defended the changes, saying they reflect gold standard evidence-based science, but it is important to note that there are many credible studies that have found no relationship. At the White House, I'm Julia Benbrook.
San Diego County's recent decision to buy a state-of-the-art helicopter is shining a light on a little-known firefighting program. It's not run by a fire agency, but by San Diego Gas and Electric. KPBS environment reporter Tammy Murga says the program supports regional firefighting, but ratepayer advocates question whether customers should be responsible for firefighting.
In August, San Diego Gas and Electric showcased a program many may not know about. Reporters gathered at Gillespie Field in El Cajon to see what the company had at its hangar.
So our helicopters have been in the fight on fires in Del Mar, in Rancho Bernardo, and Mission Valley.
Scott Kreider is SDG&E's president. He showed the helicopters the company uses to fight fires in and around the county.
We are making sure that we are contributing to the safety throughout the region.
What wasn't shown that day, the company's Sikorsky S-70 Firehawk. It's a helicopter capable of flying in low-light conditions that force most choppers in the county to stay grounded. SDG&E bought one 5 years ago. Their reasoning was because access to night-flying aircrafts are limited in the county, but the helicopter was never deployed. Brian D'Agostino is responsible for wildfire mitigation at SDG&E. He says that's because
we did not get the certification we were hoping for.
For the last 5 years, the aircraft sat in Denver, Colorado, waiting for a green light from the Federal Aviation Administration. Rather than continue waiting, D'Agostino says the utility decided to sell the helicopter. For years, CAL FIRE and the county have been fighting fires together. A county pilot flies the helicopters and CAL FIRE makes the water drops. They had been looking for a Firehawk. County officials say owning one would bolster their nighttime firefighting. A deal was made.
Knowing that CAL FIRE could start operating it immediately, it became the best decision for the community that we kind of hand this over.
The sale price is $31 million. SDG&E says it will break even. D'Agostino says buying the helicopter did not have any impact on customer rates because
it's not until you take full delivery and put something into operations that the ratepayers, that then it transitions over and the ratepayers start to pay for it. In this particular case, it never got to that point that it was certified and operating.
As part of the sale, SDG&E agreed to pay the county up to $5 million annually through 2035. The county says it will use that money to help with debt financing and operational costs. If the California Public Utilities Commission allows it, SDG&E could recover that money in customer rates over time. But ratepayer advocates like Bill Powers argue that investments in firefighting should be left to fire agencies.
It's a stretch to say, well, we're going to buy a helicopter for ourselves just to back up other agencies who have a primary responsibility to fight fires because we're good citizens.
SDG&E's aviation investments are one of several projects in its wildfire mitigation plan. State regulators require power companies to prepare these plans and show how their electrical lines and equipment are reducing wildfire risk. Customers repay the cost of those investments over time through rates if the regulators approve.
The mitigation program that the residents or ratepayers are paying for is supposed to be to minimize or eliminate ignition sources, not to deal with fires after they have occurred. That's an important function. It's just not a function of an electric utility.
But SDG&E says firefighting assets are one vital way the company protects the community from wildfires.
For those who kind of say, hey, stay in your own lane, right? A lot of it is protecting the community from wildfire is all of our lanes.
Even small fires can damage the electrical system. So by working with the county to keep fires as small as possible, D'Agostino says,
you end up spending a lot less money on having to rebuild the system.
CAL FIRE and county officials applaud the deal with SDG&E. Jeff Collins is the county fire director. He called the sale a helpful opportunity
because how quickly we can get that helicopter into service versus ordering something brand new.
The Firehawk is expected to be ready next fall after it's outfitted to CAL FIRE standards. Tammy Murga, KPBS News.
New data released today shows Americans' paychecks aren't going as far as they used to. Ivan Rodriguez breaks down the latest economic outlook just around the corner from the start of the holiday season.
Price rise of everything going on with inflation, the tariffs, our dollars are not stretching as much as it need to.
From food to health insurance.
It's going to be tripled
this year,
which equates to double the cost of what we pay for our mortgage for our house.
People are struggling to keep up with rising costs. A poll published by Fox News this week found 76% of Americans have a negative view of this economy, up from 67% in July. Vice President J.D. Vance says the administration needs time.
As much progress as we've made, it's going to take a little bit of time for every American to feel that economic boom, which we really do believe is coming.
When it comes to Americans' paychecks, in September, inflation-adjusted hourly earnings were flat for the second month in a row, holding the annual rate of gain at 0.8%, the lowest in more than a year, according to Bureau of Labor Statistics data released Friday. For blue-collar and service industry workers, real pay gains were even weaker. The White House, however, continues to express optimism about the economy.
Wages are up by 3.8% over the year for American workers because of President Trump's pro-growth policies. In fact, real wages are on pace to increase roughly $1,200 for the average worker this year under President Trump.
In September, inflation also rose to 3% for the first time since January, according to the Consumer Price Index. Ivan Rodriguez, KPBS News.
Well, with all the recent rain that we've had, potholes are once again a concern for drivers around the county. Our media partner KGTV spoke to Ray Frey of Ray Frey Auto Center in Kearney Mesa, and he explained potholes can do a lot of damage to your car if you hit one, but unfortunately there's not much you can do to avoid one.
The problem is when you try to avoid a pothole, there is a chance, swerving into somebody else's lane, you can cause damage to somebody else's car and then, body work to your car. So it's best just to drive over them.
Yeah, and Frey adds that odds are you probably also know the problem spots on the roads that you travel on the most. So avoid those lanes where the potholes tend to pop up.
Let's take a look at the next few days here. Before we really look ahead, we want to look back, though. This has been a monumental start to the wet season for us. The storm system is gradually pushing east. It will begin to exit stage right on Saturday. Still some lingering showers for some of us into Saturday. By the way, this is impressive. The National Weather Service was looking at some of the rainfall totals. We have access to similar data here. And the top rainfall report for the 7-day stretch. This is really from early Friday morning of last week to early Friday morning of this week. So we've added marginally on top of this with the daytime rain, 10.04 inches of rain at the Middle Fork of Lytle Creek. That top report there is very impressive, and that's up in the mountains a bit, but low enough in the elevations for it to be liquid as opposed to snow. Over 3 inches of rain has fallen this month in San Diego. In a typical November, we get a little under an inch. Great start to the wet season. Showers linger tonight, 56 degrees. It's been wet out there. Now, as this storm system gradually moves east, this in tandem with high pressure up near Oregon, we'll work together to bring an offshore wind, but again, we often get concerned about offshore winds. We think about the Santa Ana winds, for example. In this case, it's going to be accompanied by very wet ground conditions. So we don't have much fire danger, thankfully, because it's been so wet. The dew points are still up there for now, and you can see the showers will be lingering, but they're going to be fading as they move farther east during the day on Saturday. So still Saturday, some lingering showers out there, maybe a few peaks of sun up near Oceanside and other areas near El Cajon, Ramona, Borrego Springs. Still cloudy showers out there. Any Mount Laguna snow will be changing over to rain as the final few sprinkles occur. But again, still wet tonight. Saturday morning, still wet. Saturday afternoon, still some showers around. The heaviest rain that will be to the east. And then we finally begin to see this system lift away through the desert southwest. So it's been quite the stretch. Let's take a look at some details here. Sunday, storm exits into New Mexico. We'll be back to dry weather. And again, it's been a really good start to the wet season. Lingering showers for some near the coast on Saturday. Then we dry out for the rest of this 5-day stretch, even through Thanksgiving. Inland areas, breezy with some showers around, turning warmer and drier then in the days to follow. In the mountains, maybe a little bit of daybreak snow ending as rain showers during the day. And then the deserts, lingering showers. And then the sun returns. So it's been quite the start to the wet season. Have a great, safe, and happy weekend. For AccuWeather, I'm Jeff Cornish for KPBS News.
Next Friday, Graffiti Gardens in Encanto will host the 2nd annual Black Friday Artist Market. KPBS arts reporter Beth Accomando explains how artist Max Moses is challenging traditional ideas about Black Friday consumerism.
Black Friday has grown into such a frenzy of consumerism that Eli Roth couldn't resist taking it to violent extremes for his horror film, Thanksgiving.
You know, it's almost like this goofiness of people running to stores and going shopping, like almost fighting for each other to buy some new gadget and stuff. And I was like, yeah, I'm so over it. Like, aren't you over it? Why don't we change that scenario? Why don't we do something where it's more of a celebration?
So last year, artist Max Moses decided to reimagine Black Friday.
And it's like, Black Friday, I was like, it's black. Like, yeah, we need to take that over as black people. Let's take Black Friday over. Let's make this where it's a day where you spend money with black artists. You celebrate black culture, you celebrate black community, you celebrate black economics. I want to take over that idea of Black Friday to be like an economic movement, a black consciousness movement, a black love movement.
And there's no better place to do that than Graffiti Gardens in the heart of San Diego's Black Arts and Culture District.
Graffiti Gardens is this sanctuary of art for artists and art lovers. We've become like a real staple in the community at this moment in time.
Moses is the art director of Graffiti Gardens and the driving force behind its second annual Black Friday Artist Market. Once again, he'll be collaborating with Marilyn Harvey.
What appeals to me is showcasing and highlighting in this lovely community folks who are doing beautiful things, who are creatives, and who are intentional about bringing beauty into spaces that have been overlooked, right? I mean, I think there's a lot of beauty here, and we want for people to be able to be seen, be heard, and to make money.
Harvey will be on hand representing her soon-to-open business down the street from Graffiti Gardens, Mvinyo Book Bar.
One morning, I literally jolted out of bed and said, I'm going to sell books. And then the next thought was, and you're going to sell wine, because books and wine go together.
In addition to Harvey, Moses has tapped artist Brandon Flowers to help curate participating artists.
As you can see, Max Moses has curated a great space for us artists to be able to host events like this. So, I mean, it inspires me every time I come here, you know, so I can imagine what it's going to do for the new artists that I plan on introducing at this.
Giselle Rocha is a new artist who just started working as a coordinator at Graffiti Gardens.
I believe it's going to be a culmination of just different types of art making, art feeling, color, vibrancy, connectiveness.
This neighborhood is definitely overlooked and underserved, and we're really working toward planting some seeds of goodness, not just sustainability, of thriving. We don't want to just survive, we want to thrive.
The Black Friday Artist Market runs from 2 p.m. to 9 p.m. next Friday at Graffiti Gardens in Encanto. Beth Accomando, KPBS News.
Look for all our stories and more on our website, kpbs.org. Thanks for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi. Good night.
Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Bill Howe Family of Companies, providing San Diego with plumbing, heating, air, restoration, and flood services for over 40 years. Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE or visit BillHowe.com. And by the Conrad Previs Foundation, Darlene Marco Shiley, and by the following. And by viewers like you. Thank you.